All right, so now we are graphing systems of inequalities. So if you're struggling with any of this, especially the shading and stuff, please see a previous video that gives step by step. So I'm just going to go over what we went over in class today to cover that. So the very first line we're going to plot in red. Now, because it has this inequality without a bar, actually both of these do, that means my lines are going to be dotted today. So looking at this, this says y is greater than -1. So that means I should be expecting a horizontal line at y equals to -1. So I'm going to do just that. So again, it's dotted, so do the best you can on your paper. So then now it says y is greater than -1. Well, is y greater than -1 up here or down here? Okay, it's getting bigger up here, so I'm going to shade in that direction. Now, I always like to put little arrows, especially on this device, so you can see it. Then my second line I'm going to plot in blue. It's x is less than 0. So the first thing is I got to ask myself, well, where is x 0? Well, x is 0 right here along this y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dots up here because this is my line. My line is on the y-axis, and x is less than 0 is going to be going that way. So I'm going to go shade that way. So when I'm dealing with a system of inequalities, I'm combining these two together. So that means where I would shade is here, and I'll even do it both colors like you would have seen these come together. That's where I would shade for this problem, is where they both are going in the direction. All right, so both of these, still doing our graphing systems of inequalities, both of these are already set up nicely in the fact that they're already in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to color this one red. So I go to +2, and I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. Now looking back up here, I see this inequality without a bar, so that means I have a dotted line. So I'm going to draw my dotted line. Oops, had a long line there, but that's all right. Cut it up there, okay? So I have my dotted line. And then I have to ask myself, okay, what's going on here? Well, it's where is y greater than? So I can either plug in a test point of 0, 0, or I can look at my y-axis and say, okay, which side of this line right here, this line that I just graphed, this side of it or this side of it is y getting bigger, is y getting greater? Well, it's on this side that y is increasing, getting bigger, and it's going to continue off the screen here. So that means this one I'm shading in that direction. Okay, so the second one, I'm going to graph in blue. So I graph that point and go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And if you notice, this one does have the bar underneath it, so I'm going to have a solid line. Okay. So now I got to ask myself, looking at this, it says y is less than or equal to x plus 1. So looking at this, where is my y getting smaller? On the top of this line or on the bottom of this line, however you want to look at this. Well, y is going to be getting smaller this way. Okay, so again, you look at where are they combined. Well, they're combined right here. So this is your shaded portion. And like we talked about in class today, you'll see on the papers and sometimes on the computers, they'll have lighter shading and darker shading, and the darker is the answer or the solution. On the screen here, to me, it's harder for you to see that visual. All right, so now we have the two equations. Y is less than x plus 1, and 3x plus 4y is greater than 12. So the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and solve this second equation here for y, so I can get it into the y form. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I get 4y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 12. Divide everything by 4, and I get y is greater than or equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. Okay, so now that I have my two equations, so my first one is going to be my red equation, so I'm going to plot it and go 1, and then my slope is up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And looking back here, this without a bar is means I have a dotted line, so I'm going to draw a dotted line as best as I can. And then I'm looking at the inequality sign, and it says, where is y less than this line? So I'm looking at this line, and I'm saying, which side is my y's getting smaller? Well, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this. Well, my y's are getting smaller down here. So that means when I think of shading, I'm going to shade this way. So now my other line, looking at what I've simplified down here. So I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to go down 3 to the right 4. And it's a solid line because of this sign right here. So it's a solid line. So I'm going to draw my line. Okay. And now I've got to ask myself, where is y greater than this line? So I'm looking at this line, and I'm saying which direction, this way or this way, is y getting bigger? Well, this way. This right here. So I'm going to graph in that direction. So again, I'm looking at where do they match up? Well, here's where they match up, in this section of the two lines. So that is where I would shade. All right, so both of these equations are not in slope-intercept form, so I need to do some rewriting. This top one is nice and pretty. If I subtract 2x from both sides, I get y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 1. So that worked out well. The bottom one, I'm going to do the same steps, but it takes me twice. So here, if I subtract x, I'm going to get negative y is greater than or equal to negative x minus 2. Then my next step is I need to divide everything by negative 1. Now remember, when I do this, I need to flip this sign, because that's the rules of inequalities. When I multiply or divide by negative, I need to flip the sign. So now I have y is less than x plus 2. So I'm going to graph these. So I go up to 1, I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. And looking back up here, there's a solid line underneath there, so I'm going to draw a solid line, not a dotted line. So if you see the solid line, the bar underneath there, you're drawing the solid line. Now I'm going to graph my blue one. So my blue one I go up to, I go up right to the right. Now again, looking at this, it's a solid line underneath here, so I'm going to draw a solid line to connect the dots. So now I need to talk about where does the shading come into play. So on the red one, it says y is greater than or equal to this line. This line. So where is y getting bigger this line? Is it on this side or is it on this side? And you're only looking at the y-axis. Well, it's on this side. So I'm going to graph in this direction. My blue line, I'm asking where is y getting smaller, because it is less than or equal to. So I don't know, where is y getting smaller? Is it getting smaller up here or is it getting smaller up here? Well, right. It's getting smaller down here. Okay? So that means I'm going to shade where they come together, which is in this portion over here, is where they come together. So that is where I shade on this problem. All right, so these two equations are already in slope-intercept form, so I love that. So I'm going to plot them. So I'm going to plot this top one in red, and I got to go up 3, and I'm going to go up 2 to the right 1. And it's a solid line, because if you look here, I've got that bar underneath it, so that solid line I'm going to form. And my second equation I'm going to do in blue, and I start at negative 1, and I go up 2 to the right 1, go up 2 to the right 1. Maybe you've seen a pattern now, okay? But I am going to do a solid line because it's got the bar or the solid line underneath it. These have the same slope. These are never crossing. That is okay. I still have some shading to do because I need to take that into account. So when I look at the red line, it says y is less than 2x plus 3. Well, here's my red line. So I'm going to know, where is y getting smaller? On this side of the line or on this side of the line? Okay? Yes, on this side of the line. So I'm going to shade in this direction. All right? On my blue line, it says y is greater than this. So I'm asking myself, where is y getting bigger? Here's my line. Is y getting bigger up here? Or is y getting bigger down here? Right, it's getting bigger up here. So I'm going to be shading in this direction. So for these two equations, and this is not always the case when you have parallel, but for these two equations, I'm shading in between them. That is the shading that will be done on these two equations. All right, so number 6 of these equations. The first one I'm going to have to do some rearranging because it is 5x minus 2y is less than 6. So I need to subtract 5x from both sides, and I get negative 2y is less than negative 5x plus 6. divide everything by a -2, which I'm okay with, and I get y. Make sure to switch your sign because we divided by a negative, is greater than 5/2x minus 3. Okay? Make sure to flip the sign. That one's key. So I'm going to graph that one in red first. So I'll go down to -3, plot a point, and I'm going to go up 5/2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And it is a dotted line because of the inequality has no bar underneath it. So I'm going to do my best to draw a dotted line. Okay? Then I'm going to draw this one in blue. So I'm going to go up 1, go down 1 to the right 1. This too is a dotted line because of this inequality. So I'm going to do my best to draw a dotted line. Okay? So now I got to figure out where I'm going to shade. So this first equation, once I simplified it over here, says y is greater. So you're asking yourself, where is y, the y-axis, getting bigger? Where is it getting bigger? Well, on this side is where it's getting bigger. So this, you're going to be shading in that direction. Then the blue one, you're asking, this says where is greater. So where is y getting bigger? Is it this way or is it this way? Well, it's this side that y is getting bigger. So you're going to shade in that direction. So again, you're looking at where they combine. And where they combine is right here in this section of the two lines.